As Sherry mentioned, my name is DAmico. I've been with NWAC for the last 7 years or so, and I just moved into the forecast director role, so pretty excited about that. And my talk today is really to give an overview of what the program has accomplished in the last year, and talk about some of the exciting changes that are going to be coming up for next year. So if you've been paying attention to NWAC for the last several seasons, you've probably noticed some big changes, and we're going to just dive a little bit deeper into those. So part of that change, especially in the last 2 years, has been a leadership transition on the forecast team. We had Kenny Kramer retire in March of last year. Kenny stayed on in a part-time role to help us smooth the transition and just download decades of experience. I'm going to embarrass Kenny because I saw him. Kenny, where are you? Let's give him a round of applause. I let Kenny know that this was going to happen about 5 minutes ago, so. Yeah. And those who got to meet Simon Troutman. Simon's accepted the forecast director role for last season as a detail from the National Avalanche Center. Simon's based in Bellingham, but he was all over the place. And really, Simon's role was to steer and grow our field forecasting program and just be everywhere that he could be. And I think he did an excellent job. Simon is not here today because he is down at the National Avalanche School in Utah teaching the next round of forecasters. So the good news is Simon is staying on with us in a technical and advising role for this year. And one of his other major duties is going to be just leading web and tech projects that are shared across U.S. Forest Service centers. And a lot of that work is going to be coming downstream in the next couple of years, but I'm going to give an example today of some of that technology that is already spreading across several U.S. Service Forest Centers, Avalanche centers. So we covered a lot of ground last season, and not to look too far in the past, but I think it's important for you all to know what we've been up to. Kind of the big news is that we successfully integrated 4 field forecasters into an evolving program last year. With the extra field staff, we were able to produce 10 unique forecasts for our 10 avalanche zones. Our forecasters had a strong presence in the field and social media. I've got an example from Matt Promomo. He did some great work on social media last year, up in the bottom right. And then we joined InfoX, and for those who don't know what InfoX is, it's a platform where we share snowpack and avalanche observations with industry partners. So it's not for public use, but it's really the first hack at a snowpack and avalanche database, at least in the US, that's been shared across programs that have different responsibilities, but we all kind of want to know the same thing of what's going on in your backyard. Last year, we had buy-in from NWAC, obviously, but also WSDOT, North Central region, and then several ski areas like Crystal and Stevens Pass were on board. So it's like any platform. It wasn't perfect. Could be clunky at times, but really there's no going back for us as far as going back to shared spreadsheets or Google Docs or something like this. This is the real deal for us, and we need a way with our remote forecasting capabilities now to share information in one platform. So great job for Josh Hirschberg. He was our lead forecaster to help bring us into that program, working with other industry partners. On the mountain weather side, we did a lot of work behind the scenes last year, and that was really orienting our flagship weather product from the morning to the afternoon. And that sounds really simple, but with our evening publish of the avalanche forecast, we wanted to pour more effort into the mountain weather forecast that went into the afternoon. And I think we were able to accomplish that. And in the meantime, we were also able to clarify some of the mountain weather product. I think we still have a lot of work to do as far as communicating and parsing the information that's out there. But really, the way to think about this is we became more effective in our job as far as spreading the weather information throughout our program. And phase 2 is going to be really working on the delivery and the communication of our weather information. Other highlights from the weather program was we were more timely. We heard feedback, and we tightened the ship as far as our weather forecast publication. And Robert Hahn, one of our avalanche meteorologists, worked with the UW and the Pacific Northwest Fire Lab to develop 1.3 and 4 kilometer WRF products that are similar to what you'd see if you went to the UW forecast page, but they are internal to us, and they're specifically designed and oriented to help us do mountain weather forecasting. So some other changes for last year. We launched a new weather data and visualization map that came out midwinter. It had a few hiccups as far as the mobile view. I think we've got most of those ironed out right now. But the real power of this map is that it puts snowtells and weather stations that are in the NWAC network side by side. That's the first time that you've really been able to look at both of those networks in an easy to view place. If you went to MesoWest or some other website, it was not easy to see that information side by side. On our back end, our station data flow has been streamlined, and you don't need to know much about that except there's fewer data disruptions, we're really pleased about that. And then finally, our weather station records, maintenance notes, are now part of the station record. And what that means is we are taking steps to better communicate to you all when weather stations are down, why they're down, and roughly how long we expect them to be down, what's the repair plan. So there's more work to be done, but the infrastructure has been set up on our back end. So everyone's favorite weather station updates, just to kind of give you a rundown of what we've been up to since late spring. We have 2 new stations in the network, Leavenworth, which was installed by WashDOT North Central Region, and Campbell Basin. The Crystal Mountain Ski Patrol folks set that up. Those are now hooked into our network. Check them out. And those are some of the stations that we've been working on most recently over the spring and summer. And I'd just give a quick shout out to retired forecaster Garth Ferber. He's still keeping some toes in the NWAC world, helping us out, and really leading a lot of the weather station repairs. So nice job, Garth. We're happy to still have you, and you don't have to get up as early. So if you've been checking out some of the weather stations with the recent snowfall that's been going on, you might have noticed that some stations are either down or the 24-hour snowboards are not out. And really keep in mind that the season is just ramping up for us. And this is the time of year that we get out there. The ski areas are coming back, and we get those problems fixed. The fall is really a busy time for getting everything running smoothly. So I wanted to take just one slide and talk a little bit about NWAC weather forecast verification. As meteorologists, we're no stranger to busting forecasts. Just ask the National Weather Service. I believe they said it was not going to snow below 4,000 feet this weekend. I'm not sure how that worked out, but it looked pretty snowy on the cameras. But it's, I think when we're forecasting day to day, you can really lose your sense of place as far as how much value you're adding and if that value is percolating through the Avalanche program. So we want to take a look and just try to answer that core question over a pretty narrow verification project. And what we did was we looked at our forecasts versus the 1.33 kilometer WRF for 7 mountain sites that we forecast precipitation, 100th of an inch. We looked at 12 to 24 hours out from the model initialization, 24 to 36 hours. That corresponds to our day 1 and day 1 night forecasts. And we used root mean squared error as a measure of accuracy. So it's not an absolute value, but if you're 0, you're fitting the regression line perfectly, so lower scores are better. And we ran it out over the course of the season. So over the course of the season, are we adding value? And we were, I'd have to say, we were pleased to find that for all 7 sites, we were improving in accuracy over the 1.33 kilometer WRF. And you can see the scores on the right-hand side there. We also looked at mean error to look for forecaster bias. And what we found was we also had a lower bias over the raw WRF over the course of the season. So again, we will bust forecasts just like everyone else from time to time, but it's good to know that that value is seeping to our program. And I think we're going to expand on this verification, our verification efforts for next year to help guide the program for future seasons. So nice work, Robert, pulling, I don't know where Robert is, but nice job pulling this together in just a couple weeks. So what's new with the mountain weather program for this season? You'll see a lot of Dallas Glass, and I'm pleased to introduce him. You're going to see even more. Dallas is joining with Kenny's retirement. He's stepping into a part-time weather forecasting role. And we know that Dallas is up for just about any challenge, and we're looking forward to him doing a great job. So you'll see his name not only on Avalanche forecast, but mountain weather forecast this year in that part-time role. And weather forecasting will begin Monday, November 18th. That's looking like a little late with the way it's been snowing. After we get through about midweek, it does look like it's going to dry out, at least for 10 days or so. But that's the way things are headed. So some of the updates for the Avalanche forecast program. We've got a new look coming for our Avalanche forecast layout. This is one of those shared Avalanche Center projects that I was speaking to with Simon earlier. We've got it's going to have a cleaner view. There's going to be the same look and feel at about half a dozen Avalanche centers across the U.S. So if you're traveling, checking out the snow in another part of the country, you might actually see the same website look, which will be nice for everyone. And really, locally, what you're going to notice is that the mobile view has been drastically improved. The layout should be a lot cleaner when you check it out on your smartphone. And I just want to take a second for all the different web-related and tech projects that you see. It's really because of the nonprofit arm of the Northwest Avalanche Center that we are able to move forward, try to keep pace with technology, and really work on the way we communicate information to y'all. So the work is important, and we couldn't do it without your support in the nonprofit. So some exciting news on the Avalanche side for this year. We've got 2 new forecasters starting. I'll do introductions during the next slide, but we're going to have the first forecaster down in Oregon ever of any type. So that's exciting news. And then another forecaster for Snoqualmie Pass and West-South Zone. With more boots on the ground than ever before, we're expecting our field team to focus more on their primary zones, get into traditionally underserved terrain by us, more community interactions, and just have more staff and resources for incident response. Not that we want any incidents, but we're excited to have more staff available. So, speaking of exploring new terrain and interacting with more community members, we have snowmobiles this season. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. We've acquired 6 from Clem's Enklaws Power Sports, and the forecast staff will have access to them this winter. I don't know, maybe they'll even let me on one. We'll see. And special shout out to Scott Schell and John Farian, one of the NWAC board members who made this happen in pretty short order. So impressive. We have the sleds, and we're going to use them this winter. So I'm going to do a quick introduction for the field team who's out there, so you get a look at them without goggles on, or a hat, or helmet, or covered in powder, whatever they're up to. So as I read your name, just stand up, and what you'll see in parentheses is the most likely place you'll see them working for NWAC. So Dallas Glass, go ahead and stand up. Josh Hirschberg, there he is in the back. And Andrew Kiefer, there he is over there. I see a lot of plaid out there. Matt Promomo, there's Matt, okay. Oh, we got non-plaid. Andy Harrington, Andy's a new forecaster. Where are you, Andy? There you are. Peter Moore, he's our Mount Hood forecaster. Peter, are you here? Oh, Peter might be, there he is. And then our professional returning observers, Jeremy Allen, stand them up. Matt Schoenwald, where's Matt? Nick Asher. Lee Lazara, there's Lee. And then last but not least, Robert, stand on up, here we go. So during the break, intermissions, that kind of stuff, go up and say hi to your local forecast team. So before I finish up, I just want to talk a little bit about upcoming opportunities with NWAC for next year. Our staff has grown to 8 U.S. Forest Service staff, but we have additional opportunities on the horizon. We're planning to hire a deputy director early in 2020, and that's going to help manage our field team. So look for the vacancy announcement after the new year and let folks who might be interested know, and we'll be in touch. So we may have more forecaster vacancies coming up for other positions as well, but I would check back in late spring, summer 2020. So with that in mind, I'd like to thank you, the NWAC community, our agency partners, and the entire nonprofit staff for making this happen. And let's have a great winter, everyone. All right, so I'll take any questions if there are questions. As Scott mentioned, there is going to be a working lunch where we can dive a little bit more into the inner workings of NWAC if you're interested. All right. No questions means that's good. All right, thank you.